Men, I think it's safe to say that women have officially lost it. Lost it over the fact that we as men have collectively decided we no longer want to date them, marry them, or really even talk to them. And their desperation over that, their desperation to understand why, is growing by leaps and bounds. For example,
The amount of men that are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to nice places, what do you want then? Do you even like women? Maybe you should be dating men. These types of guys are wondering what they're getting in return when they're getting her presents. Women can afford their own dinner. They don't need to be there, and they don't understand. There can only be one princess.
now, the irony of her comments are simply delicious, aren't they? It is absolutely amazing how they cannot see that the toxicity and insanity that they display in videos just like this are the very reason why men are done and walking away. It speaks to their ridiculous demand and expectations. Let's review some of them, shall we? First, she complains about the amount of men that she says are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to a nice place. Which again, just proves the mindset that today's modern women have, which is that men are nothing more than a source of income, a source of wealth and status, a source of provision to them. That's it. Men aren't human beings. They aren't worthy of love, caring, or concern. Their only reason for existing is to generate money and then give it to women in the form of expensive dinners, presents, or all the other things that women expect while offering nothing, literally nothing in return. You'd have better luck Venmoing your life savings to a Nigerian prince than spending anything on a woman with that kind of mindset. At least the prince is honest about taking your money and leaving. Sorry, ladies, but it's not that men are broke as you all are running around saying. It's that they've realized you aren't worth spending even a dime on anymore. Not one thin dime. She then continues her, let's call it, reaching out to men by asking, what do you want then? Well, darling, what men want is to be seen. What we want is to be heard. What we want is for you to stop treating us as a walking wallet and start treating us as a human being. A human being with thoughts, feelings, and emotions. A human being with wants, desires, goals, and expectations of our own. Something most of you are utterly incapable of respecting, let alone even acknowledging as acceptable. And your condescension and derision proves that. But it gets even better. Next, we resort to the new insult and attempt to be derogatory towards men that seems to be exploding. You know, where they imply that any man who doesn't spend all his money on them must be gay. As I've said time and again, it blows my mind just how prominent this has become. It shows how homophobic these women are that they use the implication of being gay in such a derogatory way. So what if he's gay? Why would that matter? Why would that make him lesser as a man or human being? Because that's exactly what you're saying when you say that. Just because a man doesn't want you doesn't mean he's gay. It just means he's unwilling to put up with your insanity, your delusions, and frankly, your mindset. It's 2025. I thought we were past all that. But apparently not. And then moving on like clockwork, she falls back on the biggest thing that she and most women these days think makes them priceless. Their presence. Oh, sweetheart, I hate to tell you this, but for most of you, your presence ranks somewhere between getting a pair of used socks and a worn-out toothbrush for Christmas. Sorry, cupcakes, but your presence actually means nothing to us. In fact, if anything, it's a negative thing. Kind of like the equivalent of getting an inbox full of spam or an IRS audit. Sure, they're there, but it doesn't mean anyone's happy to see them. Hell, a double root canal with no Novocaine performed by Dr. Zell, I'll let you go look him up for reference, would be more enjoyable than spending an hour of our time with you. And then, of course, she goes on to the next thing they love to throw out, which is women can afford their own dinner and don't need to be there. That shtick. Okay, then, go do it. Why are you bothering us? Why are you asking where did we go and why are we rejecting you if you can go be happy, go be strong and independent, and go eat your dinners all alone? Honestly, we're good if you do. Seriously. In fact, we're the ones who come out ahead, so by all means, go enjoy that expensive dinner, sitting at the table alone in the crowded restaurant. We sincerely hope you have a good time, though it's pretty obvious you aren't. In the end, this woman represents the overwhelming majority of today's modern women and how they think. It proves just where they're at. She's not the exception, but the rule. And it's why, men, we need to keep doing what we're doing. We need to keep walking away and letting them know they aren't the princess, but the pea. The pea that is small, irritating, and one that will never manage to grow into anything worth keeping around.